right, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You guys already know what time it is. And right here we are joined by Louisville, Kentucky's own. We got Seth of Nowhere Fast right here live on the radio station airwaves and of course YouTube as well. Seth, how are you doing tonight out there in Kentucky?
I'm good. How are you all?
Doing best I could possibly be down here in Canada. Just enjoying that summer weather before that snow hits again. I know the listeners that are listening are being like, Immortal, you shut up about that snow, but it is coming.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all get it. It's still hot here. Still really hot. But it feels okay today. So.
But Seth, I do know you're a very busy individual, so of course I'm not going to keep you away from your Thursday night too long, but I got to take you back to the beginning of Nowhere Fast in the early to mid 2000s. What is the story behind this band? Like, how did yourself and the other members actually first meet?
Well, back in the old days, it was just a bunch of us friends that got together and pretty much learned how to write songs together. And then obviously member changes over the years, but the lineup now is been together for quite a while. And but in the early days, it was just a bunch of friends in love with music in the scene and listening to anything and everything, especially in punk rock, and just trying to figure out how to write good songs. And it took a while, but we got there.
And speaking of good songs, man, February 24th of 2006, you guys actually released the 4-track EP titled Hollow Angel. I was wondering if you could actually just tell us the story actually behind this album, and of course, and just the inspiration behind it, man, because this, for an earlier EP, this is actually a very good project.
Thanks. We were touring pretty much nonstop back then, and we had tried to record some stuff before that, like a few years prior, and just kept demoing, but none of it was really good yet. And we just got right off, I think, if I remember correctly, I think like 20-something day tour, and we went straight into this basement studio. It's like, it didn't even have a name. It was just some person's studio in a basement, and we cut like bass and drums live in one room, and then went to a buddy's studio and just finished it out there. The crazy thing about that release is there's no click, there's no it's just pretty much it's what you would have heard if you would have saw us during that time. Like, straight up, like those songs were in the set list, and we thought those were the strongest songs at that point.
And when you said as well that you were actually touring around the time you guys were actually recording this record, I have to ask, man, who were you actually on tour with back then in 2006?
Anybody and everybody. We're the band that loaded in a van and set up shows. I mean, we started using Book Your Own Life, and then some other various websites and the networks you pick up along the way. We didn't start touring with other bands off and on until like in the latter part of the decade. And until now also, but I mean, we still go out. That was just us on our own, setting up and playing with friends in different cities, and some are still lifelong friends. So, you know, the whole good thing about the community, you know, you make some lifers in it, that's for sure.
That's the one thing I love about the punk rock community. Everyone is united and comes together and helps one another, man. I think that's one of the only genres of music that's not a cutthroat industry. Like, you do obviously come across a few cutthroat individuals in every genre of music, but when it comes to punk rock, there's more unity than anything.
It does. I mean, I talk to Rob, my bass player, all the time. Like, we've talked about it before, and just old friends and stuff. Like, we grew up in it, you know, and we're older now, and we're still in it. In even the new generation's doing it. They're kind of carrying on that tradition, and if they can't get into a club, they're like still doing the house shows and the church shows. Not enough VFW hall shows anymore. We should bring that all back. But it's one of the greatest things in the world. Like, honestly, proud of it, and proud to stumbled upon it in my youth. That's for sure.
And speaking of some of these newer bands as well, man, some of them actually emulate some of the bands that we grew up with, man. Like, I discovered a band called Internet Friends not too long ago, and they literally sound like literally Jimmy Eat World, like Blink-182 years, and I'm just like, where did you come from? It's like they walked out of it's like they walked through a portal into 2024 and was like, here we are. And it's like, who are your parents? Because they deserve a props, like straight
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, and I think it's great, and I like the fact that, I mean, especially for the bands to be influenced by that era. I mean, that's, you know, especially in the early and mid '90s, that was like my teen years, my early teen years. Like I was, you know, I was lucky enough to witness a lot of that. Missed some of the good ones, but like lucky enough to witness some of the rad ones that were kind of developing what the kids now are influenced by. You know, it's great. And you know, bands like Blink and Jimmy, they're still doing it. You know, they're still putting out records and still touring. You know,
And
on
like
bigger
Blink's selling
scales.
out stadiums now, man, which is insane. Like just
It's
hearing,
wild.
thinking, like looking back when I was younger, if you would have told me Blink would be selling out stadiums in 2024, I'd be like, man, you're smoking some drugs, like straight
Oh
up. Just
yeah,
because like Blink's amazing, but like you know what I mean. Before Tom came back in the band, that's when they really started blowing up again, man. Like they're actually on like it's like a revamp of the Enema of the State, man. They're getting that like momentum back they had 20 years ago.
yeah. They got like a second win, kind of like Green Day and some of those bands. You know, they got, you know, not that they ever went away, but like they definitely have had two defining moments in their careers, which is wild. It's hard to do. It's hard to have one. So like to have two, it's like, you know, and it's cool because they all come from like our scene. I mean, I totally agree with you. Like especially like, you know, with Cheshire Cat and Dude Ranch and stuff like that, I would have been like, oh well, okay, you made it to the clubs. You're selling out these these 500 cap clubs. You're good, you know. So
But also as well, a few years after you guys dropped the Hollow Angel EP on June 25th, 2023, you guys actually released a 7-track EP titled Trials Taking Us Back 11 years ago. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about the story behind the album Trials, and of course, like, is it actually still out there to be streamed or purchased, man? Because this was a phenomenal album.
oh, thank you. I'm extremely proud of that record. We just played it front to back for the 10-year last year, and uh, that record is what I consider to be like our first actual good release, like something I'm extremely proud of, and it it just came together. I like it was like one of those moments in life where like the circle and like you're like things were changing for everybody, and we all kind of hit roadblock. It was a very therapeutic album. Not that all albums are therapeutic, but like this one was like it was real personal, and it just, you know, something that I had to get out. And we had some demos, and we hit up Nick Diener from the Swellers, and he decided to take a young band on, and it was a good learning curve for us. You know, we actually learned how to make a good record. Like we actually learned how to make a record, like without doing it. Like not that we're terrible, but our DIY stuff before that was not, you know, it wasn't hitting those marks. So, but we still play songs on that, and yes, it's still for streaming. You can find us anywhere at Nowhere Fast Music. That's the URL you can use. We just did that. Just it's kind of like Face to Face Music. I kind of stole it from them because Nowhere Fast Music as a URL, it separates us from Streets of Fire and the Smiths and Eminem and Incubus and all these bands with it just brings up these song titles, you know. So we just wanted to kind of separate it all.
And especially as well, like unfortunately nowadays, the music industry is very oversaturated, man. Like there's a lot of bands, a lot of other artists out there, because anybody can be a band or an artist nowadays. So I mean, just there's honestly a lot of nowhere fast bands out there. When I actually did the research for this interview, I came across a blues band. I was like, that is not it.
Yeah, we toyed on changing the name so many times that now I think it's just a day late and a dollar short. Because also for a smaller band, it's just the money you have to spend to go back in to repay them to like change the name on the like Trials and Eonian and the new record we have coming and Hollow Angel. Like we'd have to change all the names, and they would charge us to do that, and we wouldn't be able to keep like streaming alone for a small band is hard. It's extremely just to. Some of our songs have so many plays, it helps us. Some of them kind of stay in their own rotation now, and it took us a long time to get there. And you're right, guys. I mean, this streaming is not friendly to us, and I will say only one thing is that the major labels still have their claws in it, just very sneakily. So they're still pushing their own content real hard.
And also as well, you guys have actually currently been working alongside Mike of Earshot Media. I was wondering, how did you guys get connected with Mike? And of course, what is it like just working alongside him and his publicist agency, man? Because Earshot is another phenomenal company that helps so many amazing punk rock bands just like yourselves.
We got hooked up with Earshot, I think, from my buddy. If I remember, I'm actually going to see him this weekend for this festival, but my buddy Will from Next Scars. And he plays with American Thrills also. Like, I think he hooked us up with them or with Mike. And I don't talk to Mike all the time. I talked to him about a month ago now, because we got a new record coming out. And he's just super nice. We very fortunate to work with him. Very fortunate. Like I couldn't be happier. Super.
He's definitely great at what he does, man. He's super great at what he does.
He's gotten us, like on our last release, Eonian, he got us some things that we couldn't get. You know, he does us right, you know, and stick with who does you right. That's the way I
definitely
see it.
If it's not broke, don't fix it, man. Straight up. Yeah. Mike definitely knows what's up, and he definitely has the connections within the music industry. So definitely shout out to Mike.
Yeah, shout out to Mike. Earshot.
And also, November 11th of 2022, you guys actually released a single titled 12/23/95, also known as Grandma Got Run Over by a Tour Bus. I was wondering, what inspired you guys to actually create a Christmas-themed song? And of course, do you have any plans to do any more Christmas music in the future? Because this song's gnarly, man. I absolutely love the twist you did with Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
It's a Jimmy Eat World cover that we did for Never Nude Records out of Nashville. It's a compilation that they put together and just asked us, and we were just thinking like, oh, we got to do a Christmas cover, and we kept going over all these covers, and I was like, I asked Never Nude, I was like, it's kind of a Christmas song, but Jimmy World, like Jim Atkins sings Christmas like in the end, so can we use it? They approved it, and we recorded it here ourselves where I'm at now in our small little studio. So it was a lot of fun, and it was a challenge to do that song because Jimmy Eat World are phenomenal layers. They're phenomenal songwriters with their layering and stuff.
If you don't me asking, how did you actually land on that compilation and actually get connected with Never Nude, man? Because Never Nude is a major label out there in Nashville, Tennessee.
Well, TJ and them from Ghost Town, Remini, other good friends. They also do Jorts Fest, which is absolutely fun. This year was held at the Cobra, and we were fortunate enough to do that. But I met the Ghost Town people through MC and Zach of the Dreaded Laramie, because we're friends with them too. And that's how that relationship came about. And they were just nice enough to ask us to do it.
And also, I know you briefly hinted earlier on in the interview about a new album that you guys are currently working on. I was wondering if you could, from what you are allowed to speak about, can you tell the Nowhere Fast fans what can they expect from this up-and-coming album? And of course, what is the anticipated release date?
Release date is still to be determined, but it is in mastering. It's being mastered as we speak, and we're waiting to hear those. The mixing is done. It's 9 new songs, and I'm, as all bands are, we're very proud of it. We branched out a little bit on the record, but it's also got like your punk flares and everything else. We kind of just took Trials and Eonian, put it together, and then just kind of sprouted some roots, to kind of carry on.
I
We're
gotta say,
happy.
I'm definitely excited. I gotta say, I'm definitely excited for this album release. Do you guys have any plans to actually drop any vinyls or CDs, or is it going to be strictly just for the streaming services?
No, we have a plan to drop vinyls, and I know that the only like our last record was supposed to be printed and never was. We were sold out of trials, and right now the focus is the new record, which is it's going to be titled Modern Archaic. It will be printed on vinyl, and then after that, hopefully we can go back and finally get a first pressing for Eonian also, and then eventually a repressing of Trials. So yeah, it will be on vinyl. That's like something all of us are so excited for.
As a Nowhere Fast fan, that actually makes me happy, man, because nothing is better than hearing punk rock on wax, man. I mean, there's something special about it. I don't know,
Yeah,
man. Just
I'll,
something truly special.
I'll give you like when we reprint Trials. When you asked about that record, it is, and this is super nerdy, and let the arguments pursue. But we, it's 7 songs. It had a bonus like demo on it, but we put it at 45 RPM for like on a 12-inch. So the sound, so it just, and it's mastered. Like all our stuff is always mastered for vinyl. So like it just sounds so good. I mean, 33 is fine, but I was like,
Yeah.
let's do this one at 45 because we can, because it's 7 songs. We got to fill up a 12-inch record. So, but yeah, the new one, not so much. 9 songs is gonna be 33 RPM. So
Hey, you do what you gotta do, man. But at the end of the day, if it's less songs, you might as well fill it up, man. You might as well use all that wax. If you're paying for all of it, you might as well use it all.
right. And with the new record, you'll be getting a copy soon. So, and we have some singles picked out. We were actually this past rehearsal, we were talking about like video ideas and doing all the behind the scenes stuff. So that's why there's not a lot of road shows on the board at the moment, but they are coming. So
And speaking of shows, actually, tomorrow night in Louisville, Kentucky, you guys will be taking the stage at the 2024 edition of Mag Bar Music Fest. I was wondering, what can the fans actually expect from the Nowhere Fast edition of your guys' performance? And of course, where can we actually snag ourselves some last minute tickets if they are indeed still available? Because I know festival tickets tended to sell out very quickly.
you can find the tickets at magbarlouisville.com. And that's like they're all on there, all the links and stuff, or their Facebook page, which is you just search Magbar and you'll find it. And we're gonna get up there and we're gonna rip our 30 minutes of new and old. We've been rotating some Eonian songs, and like Dark Towns has made it back into the set, so I'm pretty excited about playing that one again. Haunted's Never Left. It's a good mix. We got some songs from all the records, and then we also got we got quite a few new ones in there, just because we're trying to get them less thinkers and more no brainers, like the older ones. So
And it's always good too to actually like spice up the set list. You know what I mean? Because like playing the same ones over and over again, even though it's your guys' own music, it's gonna get boring after a while. It's always good to spice it up and add in new songs. Because then when people actually, when the very loyal Nowhere Fast fans come to every show, they're not hearing the same songs every show, man.
we had talked about that so many times, and I can really give our drummer Rafa, who congratulations, he got married today. Congratulations, Rafa and Vanessa.
Congratulations.
They like he's pushed us to learn, like dig deep. Like we've learned quite a bit of the set. Like we know a lot of the discog, and he's always his points have come true on stage. So have Rob's, and Rob, our bass player too. Like he's the same way. Like he got us to put Paint You in the set because people would ask for that song, and then we played shows and someone will be like, play Lifer, and we'll be like, oh yeah, we can play that now because Rafa's made us practice that song. And it's good to deliver to anybody that's asking. You always want to, like, if somebody's seeing you and they call out a song, like you want to be able to deliver. I understand sometimes it's hard. Like if you're calling out like a song we haven't played in like 18 years or 15 years or 10 years, like for any band, I'm like, yeah, they might think about it for a minute, but you know, we try to have like the last 10 years pretty well rounded. So.
And also, aside from this brand new record that you guys are currently, you know, getting set to actually release at some point, and of course the festival show tomorrow, what is next for Nowhere Fast? Like, is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's interview? Anything else you still want to touch on, talk about, or promote? We still got you here live on the radio station.
We have we'll be playing in Newport, Kentucky, the Cincinnati area, the Cincinnati, Ohio area, at Midwest Friends Fest on August 31st at Southgate Revival House. It is packed full of great bands, and it's going to be so much fun, just like Magbar. And then after that, we don't have a lot of shows on the books right now. We're going to have a few like 1 and 2, 3 show things, but like our main goal at the moment is just to get the record out, get everything done with it, and then we will be releasing, like 2025 is going to be busy. So that's the way we're looking at it. So, but like a few shows, regional, you know, we won't be venturing too far out for the rest of the year. But we got like Midwest Friends Fest, and then we'll be announcing some shows that I can't mention at the moment in the like for fall and winter. But you know, just keep around, and it shouldn't be too far of a drive if you're in the area. So.
And also, as well, obviously I know how to follow you on social media, but for the individuals here in Canada that might just be discovering Louisville, Kentucky's own, how do we go about following not only yourself, but the rest of the band across all social media platforms? That way we can stay updated on not only the new music, but of course, those unannounced shows that are set to be announced at some point.
You can find everything you need to know about us, especially the shows, will be at nowherefastmusic.com. And that has links to our Instagram, which is probably the most updated. And then it updates our Facebook at the same time. And it's all Nowhere Fast Music, nowherefastmusic.com, facebook.com/nowherefastmusic, instagram.com/nowherefastmusic. And Linktree is also Nowhere Fast Music. And Linktree is like got everything that's going on with us. It's got video links, YouTube links, dates, all of it, you know. So just type in Nowhere Fast Music and we'll pop up.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, Seth, thank you so much for giving not only myself, but the radio station airways a bit of your time, man. It was an absolute honor talking with Louisville, Kentucky's own, man. I cannot wait for that new album when it does drop to the general public. But for now, man, definitely have yourself a phenomenal night and a killer weekend as well, man. We definitely shall talk here again soon.
Hey, you too, man. Thank you so much. And hello, everybody, and thank you for listening.
Hey, man, you're most certainly welcome, Seth. Thank you so much, and I also have yourself a great night, man.
Hey, you too, man. Thank you.